get all A's in that stuff because it's a bunch of bullshit, and I didn't feel like trying to study it. And when I did study it, you know, and did it with like a group project, another guy, I'll never forget this, a guy, Tom Bach, in a group project. He was a Cranert scholar, had straight A's, they said, or almost, and you know, he couldn't think outside the book. He memorized, I think, the book or something, I don't know. And in a group project, I figured it out. The beta of the capital asset pricing model with a negative beta. It wasn't in the book. It wasn't anything that these people had read. And Mr. Bach with his Cranert scholar, who he didn't have his GMAT listed, which I'm sure was inferior to mine, and I figured out the group project, and him and these other guys, I guess, the day of the project, decided they weren't going to do what I said, which, the group really didn't back me, but they couldn't come up with an answer themselves, and my answer was correct, and they just couldn't admit it, but they didn't go along with it with me. I guess it was just personal against me not to go along with anything I do. And they changed the project, and 5 or 6 of them, and in the classroom, and when the presentation for this great group project, they told me I'm not going to present, and I sat in the classroom and cussing and pounding my fist. What was I going to do about it? Get in a fight and raise hell in class? They changed it. They were wrong. I was right. I was 100% correct, and they changed everything I did. And I got to be in that class. And I told the teacher, and they fucking changed it, and I was just sitting there without raising hell in class during the presentation for everybody. And you see, that's just another example of why I don't really care about GPA. I care about GMAT and intelligence. And I know what went on, that they taught bullshit, such as the efficient market theory, 100% bullshit. Not real. I mean, so what? Can't make money in the stock market. Well, why study the bullshit? You go there to study something, to learn something, to make money? Whatever. Tell me you can't make money in the stock market? Well, I knew that's bullshit because I own stock. I'd made money. I witnessed other people making money. It's 100% shit. So these little idiots around here in Kansas City who say I made a B in finance or investments, you didn't take the classes I took. You don't know what went on or what was taught, so I could care less what you say or think. And when you want to judge me, you're going to go back to flunky land out of high school who could never get into Cranert or engineering, and you're an idiot. But unfortunately, the idiots are in charge of the Merrill Lynch offices in Smith, Barney, and Payne Weber. Got Payne Weber one time. Comes up in my face with his mustache and tie, kind of a dorky dumbass, shaking, trembling when I walk in the office in Overland Park, says, "What's the square root of 6.5232? He just names off this stupid equation, I guess, because I had a trust account in there through my dad. My dad does the same thing, whoever the hell he is, because I was 98% math, smart in math, so they want to, who cares? I laughed at the guy, and he's trembling with his coat, suit, and tie and his mustache. And I say, well, what's your education? This guy supposedly was Sam Sabal. I guess he was the name on my trust account. I don't know. I talked to him before. He's kind of an idiot. Mouthed off, was rude. They told me I wasn't qualified to work there. Give me some bullshit test that says, you didn't pass the test, so we can't hire you and give you a paycheck. Don't matter if you own it. And this guy said, I go, well, what's your education? Is that what you guys idiots do? Come up and ask, people who own this place. I said, he goes, well, you don't own it on my computer. I said, you're right. I own it on my Scottrade account. 100 shares of Payne Weber on my Scottrade account. And so this guy goes, I've got a PhD from MIT and a Harvard MBA. I said, do you really? Is that what you idiots do? Come up and harass people with dumbass questions like you asked me? And he goes, no, I'm lying. And he has this little girl behind the glass in there in the office. Called security guard, get him out of here. So I left. And I'd already been in jail for trespassing at Merrill Lynch. And those idiots are too stupid. They did the same thing at Payne Weber on the Kansas City Plaza. Well, I went in my Scottrade account on the Plaza, the same building as Payne Weber. This idiot security guard comes in and says, Mr. Bowers says you threaten his life, you have to leave the building. Well, this Bowers guy supposedly has a Cranert master's degree I had seen. He had given me a test to work there, and he said I flunked the test. And then when I went in there to Scottrade, where I owned 100 shares of Payne Weber or UBS, whatever it was at the time, the security guard said, well, Mr. Bowers says you threatened his life. He owns this building and you're trespassing. I said, well, I own 100 shares of Payne Weber on my Scottrade account, and I'm in Scottrade office here conducting business. And whether or not he owns a business or a building or not, who knows? But I own the company he's employed at getting a paycheck called Payne Weber. Well, we got in a hassle about that, and they threw me out of the building when I wasn't even in the Payne Weber office. So that just shows the kind of bullshit these faggot punks do. Merrill Lynch, they said Merrill Lynch asked me my degrees. Then they said it don't matter. These Forrest Smith, Deke Smith, Patrick McAllister faggots. Fictitious names, fictitious people just making shit up with fake New England accents, talking like dumbass faggots. They're the biggest faggot punks on the planet. They make up shit and throw me in jail. And their lawyer says I cost them a expense of $8 an hour while the chairman's getting 10 or 20 million a year and they're costing me revenue. See, they can't carry on a conversation. The judge lets them get away with it. Smith Barney, well, they're another story of jokes. They got these little kids, telling me after my master's that you don't own the company. Well, I own the parent company. Whatever Smith Barney was owned by, Travelers Insurance or whatever company, I own the parent company. And of course, they gave me a test, some bullshit test about, do you think just because a person has an MBA that means they should get a better job or they should be judged on performance? Well, first of all, what is performance? And yes, I do think because I have a master's from Purdue, I should get more money than anybody, of course. No doubt about it, punks, faggots. Well, they're in their little office, their little bee's nest, controlling what goes on in there in Kansas City. And these little faggots, these little fucking kids, that little kid probably who flunked out of high school will be the manager just to fucking ridicule people like me who are better than them in every facet of the existence of the human race. And, they accused me of trespassing in the American Century building and had me handcuffed, made a big scene. I'm just laughing at them while they're getting handcuffed, fingerprinting me, saying I molested women, raped women, assaulted, battered, trespassed, and all that shit they make up. Oh, guy from American Century called me in my house and said, I'm a vice president for the Stowers Institute, and if you ever step on the property, I'm personally going to remove you. Well, I'm at home in my apartment. This guy called me and said that. I said, well, who the fuck are you, punk? Let's go get it on, because you're nothing. I own, whatever. I have an account at American Century, and it was when it was owned by J.P. Morgan. I think I own stock in J.P. Morgan just to be an owner of the place. Anyway, these fucking little faggot punks mouth off to me, but they can't really. They're hit and run. They can dish it out. They can't take it. Call me up, harass me. People paying whatever made up shit called me up because they're all a bunch of faggot punks. They can dish it out. They can't take it. They're in their little, they got their security guards throwing the owners out of the company. People who are smarter and better than them, throwing them out. And the judges go along with. I guess they get paid off. And so all three of those places I had trust accounts out with my daddy, who supposedly has a Wharton finance degree and a Harvard law degree. He goes along with them, backs them up, says they can do whatever they want to as their company. Just because you own the company, own stock, it means absolutely nothing. It does not mean you own the company. It's their company. Do what they want. And, of course, he tells me don't tell people you got your degrees. They'll just laugh at you. People with top degrees go away and get killed. Lawyers, the judges shoot everybody who gets straight A's in college because they just, shoot them. Engineering degree, nobody can mess with you, wants to do that stuff. Nobody wants to mess with you people, so we just take you out and shoot you. Merrill Lynch, investment banker that my so-called daddy said got paid $1 million for shooting every engineer at General Motors who's just like you. He got paid $1 million per person he shot and killed, and they're all just like you. You take things literally. You don't do all we tell you. You argue with the lawyers and judges. You're not supposed to do that. You're not a lawyer. You're not supposed to follow the law. You're not supposed to argue with lawyers. You're not supposed to go to law school because you'll never get a job or a license. And my daddy, he's 85 now. He kind of talks crazy for the last 30 years. People, think these lawyers, he supposedly has a Harvard law degree and a Wharton econ degree, a Pennsylvania Ivy League, Stinson Morrison Hecker law firm for 50 years, top lawyer in America, all these awards. He talks like a member of the mafia, killing people. He said many times he himself killed my real father and stole his identity. It's all true. It would come out sometime. It's all true. When I was 16 years old, people started saying, they hit your dad in the head, they kill him. That's what we do with the degrees, and we take your dad and kill him because he went to Wharton and Harvard. And so I believe really that probably, I've been told many times my real father was murdered and killed. This guy stole his identity. And he even says it himself, the guy who's claimed to be my father for 25 years, living in the house of my modern father. He doesn't live in a mansion with those Ivy League degrees. He's not filthy fucking rich with those Ivy League degrees. He talks like a member of the mafia. So, that's another reason that, I didn't really have any motivation to go to school. It's because the guy's not a fucking billionaire. He's not rich and talks like a crazy idiot from the mafia. And his friends who are betas do the same thing. Beta Theta Pi's from other colleges, my dad's age, make up the same goddamn bullshit. Try to entrap me into being a wrestler,